Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our first monthly live update via the Early Math app. I'm Rusty Anderson. If we haven't had an opportunity to meet, I'm Project Director for Early Math. And the purpose of our time today is to just give us some quick updates. So we have a few updates on the agenda this morning. We can see chat. So I know this is not only new for Heather and I as we try this on the first time, but also probably all of you. So feel free to test out the chat by saying good morning. I see Sonia has said good morning. Danielle has said good morning. Give that a try and kind of poke around on the live stream side to see the features that we have. Carrie, I see that you are not hearing anything yet. Others might be. Hey, Christy. Hey, Jennifer. Scott, Tori. Carrie, happy Friday. Heather and I talked about getting some music going to get our week going, ending in the right way, but we're not quite there yet. So maybe next month we'll have a chance to hear some good music. Thanks, Tori. You have sound. Perfect. So we're going to go ahead and get started. These are all automatically recorded and will be shared or automatically put into the app. So we'll have access to them there. And we'll go ahead and get going. So as you all know, we work hard to try to communicate across the state to various audiences, and that is a challenge. So we thought we might try the live stream where we can have multiple audiences on the same call, hearing the same information. So it's about coherence, hearing the same goals, visions, and for this update, communication across the state when it comes to early mathematics. So this is not only a place to provide some quick updates, but also a space to ask questions. So know that toward the end of our agenda, we'll have a chance to do that as well. As you all know, our role with Early Math is to create roles, events, routines, and tools for ISD teams and local district teams to utilize as they do the early math work in their context. So just know that everything that we do is in service to local districts and ISDs, and we really value your voice. If you have needs, feel free to let us know and we'll do our best to meet them. Our agenda is showing on the screen now. There are 4 quick items. We do hope that these are like quick bursts. We don't plan to spend more than about 15, 20 minutes on each of these updates. Obviously, some might be shorter, some might be longer, but that's our goal. It's not to have an hour meeting to start a Friday. It's about just kind of a quick update and share some information that's relevant for the field. So we have a quick update on modules, Institute 2024, 23H, and then we'll just pause for a little bit of time of question and answer to see if there's any things that we would like to talk about. Getting into the first one, modules. So we have 10 modules released, and we've been getting a lot of questions about where to find them. How do we get just the early math modules? So I just wanted to put a slide in here real quick to show you all how you can get there. If you go to edupass.org, it will take you to a screen that looks like the picture on the left of the slide. And then if you click catalog, the middle button there with the arrow pointing to it, it will take you to a screen that looks like the right side. What EduPass has been able to do is organize all of our modules in one space under what they call a pathway. So on the left column, you see like the menu of options. Under pathway, you can select or check MAISA, early math. When you check that box, it'll bring up all of the modules, the 10 of them that we have complete right now and ready for consumption with the early math logo, and you can peruse them that way. They are active with sketches, and for our early childhood friends, we are in the process of getting our My Registry credits for those as well. I'll maybe pause for just a second and see if anything comes in chat around modules. This is just a quick technical piece of how to get them, how to find them. All right. Next up is our Early Math Leadership Institute. As many of you on the live stream know, we have had 2 leadership institutes, both in Traverse City, one at Great Wolf Lodge 2 years ago, and then last year at Grand Traverse Resort. So those we hope is an annual event. And so we've held space for 2024 in August in Grand Rapids, Michigan. We did have to move the location to Grand Rapids. There wasn't any time in a large enough venue in Traverse City for that first week of August. And we continually heard, and we know that the third week of August just isn't a good time for the Institute with going back to school and all of the things that are happening in the third week. So we really worked hard to find a place in the first week of August that had the size and space for our event. So that ended up being for this upcoming year, Amway Grand in Grand Rapids. We have right now a contract for August 5 through 8. As you know, that's 4 days, but our Institute will not be 4 days. What we're going to do is have a couple of those days be focused on early math and a couple of those days focused on literacy, where they have the quarterly meeting or the intensive. So just know that math will be probably either the 5th and 6th or the 7th and 8th. In 2 weeks, MAISA has a day planned where we're going to kind of structure out these 4 days and how we can utilize that space the best. So know that the actual dates for the math will be happening or coming your way here in the next couple of weeks. Any questions about the Early Math Leadership Institute that would be helpful to speak to right now? Feel free to use the chat. And Heather behind the scenes can help us by putting any comments on the screen. Christy, I see your question. Yes, it would be helpful to link them on the Math Essentials site. We currently have an online learning tab on mathessentials.org. Right now, the 2 that are listed there are the Essential 5 cognitively demanding tasks. So know that the others will make it there. We just haven't gotten to it yet. Thanks, Sonia. Yeah, Ashley's wondering what the Institute is. It's all new. So thank you for that question. The Institute, in short, is a space for teams to learn around early mathematics. And we bring in some of the leading researchers around the state to speak. So the picture you see on the screen is Dr. Deborah Ball and Dr. Macy Golson. We also invite Dr. Allison Fox-Resnick, Dr. Amy Noel Parks, to support us. What the audience has been in the last 2 years is ISD teams, and on those teams are some local district representatives. The audience for this 2024 conference or Leadership Institute will probably be similar. Knowing that we have some extra spaces and some extra breakout rooms, I would guess that we'll have more local district representation in addition to all of the ISDs. Yeah, Stacy, great question. The answer is yes, soon in the future. So Stacy's question is there a way to share some of the videos, audio recordings with schools that we are working with from EduPass other than taking them through the modules? So the way we envision these modules being situated, one is in EduPass, if you want to capture sketches or My Registry credits. In the future, we hope to have also a place on our website where you can, if you don't need credit and you want to utilize the modules or some pieces of the modules with groups that you are leading, you'll be able to go to the website and not have to worry about logging in or navigating through all of the Canvas course. So it'll be a more flexible, free way to access the content. We have all the files, obviously, that we've uploaded to EduPass. We just have to get them on the website so that people can kind of just click in and utilize it. Ashley, thank you. If you have other questions, feel free to reach out. I'll share my email as well. You can use the app as well. Thanks, Stacy. Okay, we'll move forward quickly. The next piece of our agenda is on 23H. This is new legislation that just showed up in the education budget for the coming year. If this is totally new to you, I'm just going to give a high-level overview. And for those of you that have been on the journey talking about 23H for many months now. There's maybe a couple just small chunks that would be helpful for you. So this legislation is going to be rolled out in competitive grants. It's going to be called Improving Teaching and Learning of Mathematics. And there are 4 areas that will be up for individual competition. They're listed there. The short of it: systems development and capacity building. Number 2, instructional materials. Number 3, math recovery specialists. And number 4, secondary personalized support programs. On the right-hand side, I have some not necessarily written in pen because we don't have the actual language from MDE yet. But these are some things that we've been hearing and thinking. So first, the release of the actual details, so the rubric, the narratives, the Nexus application, all of those things are going to be released in early November. As you would expect, as soon as we have that, we'll be communicating with the field about any things that are important to know. And I can share when our next live update is. I would assume that we'll have a heavy 23H component of it. Each area will be a separate competition. We are guessing the grade levels for numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4. Number 1 being pre-K 5. Number 2, high quality instructional materials applying to kindergarten through 5th grade. So it'll be money for local districts to purchase high quality instructional materials. Number 3, math recovery specialists being pre-K 5. And then number 4 explicitly says secondary schools. So we're assuming that that will be focused on 6-12. Every application, so if you're a local district person on the call, every application to receive some of these funds will require an ISD partner. So it'll be really vital that ISDs work alongside local districts as they create applications. And then in the bottom right, you see the sun, which is kind of alluding to what we hope in this beautiful future is that we have consortiums of ISDs working together to create applications around some language that kind of continues the work that we've started in Michigan with early math, especially to think about coherence. As we know with competitive grants, it puts in competition people where we are striving to actually collaborate. So we hope through some collaboration and consortiums of ISDs, we can not only decrease competition, but increase coherence across the state in some of the tools, events, routines that we're utilizing. Mike Wolf, thank you. Can I explain more on a math recovery specialist? I can't say much more yet until we get the information from MDE in early November. I'm not sure how they're interpreting that language. Obviously, math recovery specialist, if you're familiar with math recovery, and there are people on the call who are much more knowledgeable than me, so feel free to use the chat. That is a specific title in the structure of math recovery. In the language, though, math recovery specialist isn't capitalized. So we're not quite sure exactly what MDE is going to do. As soon as we get the information on number 3 specifically, and all of them, we'll know more. So Mike, I'm sorry, I can't say too much more because I'm not in control of the interpretation of that language. It's kind of a wait and see game that we're in right now. Darlene, thank you for number 2. We're assuming pre-K is not included in the high quality instructional materials due to the structures that they have, especially in the GSRP program, where there's some specific programs or materials that can be purchased and there's funding to do that. So I think MDE is gonna interpret number 2 as being a K-5 thing specifically because there's already a lot of structure and work done in the pre-K world around high quality instructional materials. Again, these are our interpretations of this. We have to wait to see the actual language. Sarah, thank you. We believe early math specialists will be people who can support this work at an ISD or a local district. So someone who's hired or existing, transfer their role a little bit to actually support this work, whether it's at the ISD level or the local district level. So I think these are people with specialized knowledge in teaching and learning early mathematics. Again, we'll hopefully hear more in a couple weeks when the packet's released. This is really messy. We do know it's $25 million over 2 years is what the language is. So there's a decent chunk of money for all of us to think really hard about working together and creating coherence in the ways that we teach and learn early math across Michigan. Again, on this one, more to come. As soon as we get the information, we'll be creating communication for the field. And that kind of takes us to the end of the quick updates on some new things that might be happening. We'll do that every month that we have a live stream, and we'll also include this question, which is just a kind of an open space for anybody on the live stream to post questions, comments, topics that we'd like to talk about either now or next month, or even ways that you found the work of early math helpful. So I'll just kind of pause and watch the chat for a minute to see if there's any additional questions that we didn't talk about today or topics that would be helpful. Thanks, Ashley. I'm glad it's working. Heather and I were, this is our first try. So we said it's either going to flop horribly and it's going to break connection, or it's going to actually work. And I think we're getting closer to actually work. So thank you. Thanks, Amy. Good to see you here. Dana, okay, I'm going back to your question that Heather put on the screen for us. Thanks, Heather, because I did miss that one as well. There are ways to register a group. I can send that out on the first, when you go to EduPass, there's an email. I think it's help@edupass.org. I think that's the email. I'll double check it and get it out to us. I know that if you email them and send them the names of the people you want registered as a group, they can go ahead and do that for you. Okay, I'm not seeing other topics. Know that you can reach out, like I said, in the app. When you open the app, there is a chat button at the bottom that works just like a text message. So you can find me in there and feel free to use it as a text. I'm usually pretty quick when it comes to responding in the app when I get a chat message. And today I'm representing early math. Obviously, most of you know Trish and most of you know Sonia. They'll probably make some appearances as well. Thanks, Laura. I'll get some more detail on that registering as a group, and we'll send that out. And last but not least, we have our next update. We're going to shoot for the third Friday of every month, right at 8:30, and last about 15 minutes. So again, a light way to get some updates and kind of just communicate across groups. We do have November 17 at 8:30 is our next one. I did put one opportunity to learn on the screen for us that isn't full yet. We have quite a few that are out there but full. Instructional Rounds is happening on February 12th. This is a Train the Facilitator. If you're not familiar with Instructional Rounds, we view it as a way to gather formative assessment about what's happening in classrooms across a school or a system, and then a space after observing those classrooms to identify next steps for the building. So this is a Train the Facilitator. If you're someone on the call who's like, ooh, I would love to facilitate Instructional Rounds in my context, whether that's at the ISD level or the local district level, this would be a perfect opportunity for you. We have Steve Seward, who will be our trainer, and I think there's about 40 seats left. So it will fill. It's just far enough away that it's not full yet. So if you're interested or know someone that might be interested, feel free to share that. And I believe that is all for our first live update. Heather, celebrate. I think it worked. And for the group, I'll hang on for just a second to see if there's any other questions that come in. But if not, have a great Friday. Have a great weekend, and go Blue.